would be a good time to remind people of this word afford. Do you know that word afford, Pachu?
Yeah. Yes,
What does it
yes, afford. Yeah,
what does afford?
yeah, afford means as someone could not pay their expenses
Hmm.
like that. Yeah,
It means to have the ability to pay for something.
yes,
So if you say I can't afford, that means I don't have the ability to pay.
yes,
But if you say I can afford, that means I have the ability to pay. Okay. Can you read the example
yeah.
sentence?
So they decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
Okay, so that makes sense to you. Do you understand the sentence? Is it pretty clear? They didn't have the money. They had
Yes,
the ability to pay
yeah,
for a vacation. Okay.
yes, yeah,
If we look at the, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. Let's look at the first five words of the phrase. Can you read the first five words of the phrase?
yes. So they decided not to go.
Okay. Actually, maybe let's stop with two, I think, because we'll run into a problem if we stop on go. So let's stop with two. They decided not to. What do you think?
They decided,
Mhm.
yeah, yes. Okay, so they decided not to.
What do you think is the most important word in that phrase?
Mm, this not not to
Yeah,
not.
it's funny. It's funny because most of the time, not surprisingly, not is usually not an important word here. But for some reason, there must be a reason, like in the construction of it. For some reason here, not is
Yeah.
the obvious word. So, how will you read these four words if not is the important word?
So they decided not to.
They decided not to. They decided
Yeah,
not.
they decided not to.
Okay. Now we have two. We have go plus on, and then vacation.
Yeah.
And do you think in this case is that word on is that a very important word? Is there a very strong connection between on and vacation?
Yes.
They
Yes.
decided not to go on vacation, to go on vacation. Yeah, but it's not a phrasal verb. You know what? I think for two reasons, I think we have to emphasize the word go. I think we're getting into complicated sentences here. The reason,
Yeah.
but the other reason though, I think is because we want to make a big small pattern. And
Yes.
I think emphasizing go works because of the word vacation. Where's the
Yes.
accented syllable on the word vacation?
Vacation. Cation.
K,
CATI.
K,
Cation.
K, K, Cation.
Cation.
Can you say that?
Cation.
Cation, Cation,
Vacation.
vacation,
Vacation.
vacation. They decided not to go on vacation.
They decided not to go on vacation.
Okay. Now the next, let's see, one, two, three, four. The next four words. What are the next four words?
So because they couldn't afford.
Okay, and because they couldn't afford. What do you think is the most
Yeah.
important word in that phrase?
It's afford.
Okay, and in that word, which syllable has the accent?
Afford. Afford.
Ford,
Afford. Afford.
Ford, 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 Ford.
Afford.
So this sounds like because they couldn't afford.
Yeah. Because they couldn't afford.
Okay. They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford.
They decided not to go for vacation because they couldn't afford.
Not go for, it's go on. Go on vacation.
Okay, sir. They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford
Okay, and what are the final two words?
the expense.
All right, if you have a word that starts with a vowel sound, how does that change the word the?
Sorry, so the expense,
The expense. And in that phrase, what is the most important word?
the expense.
Expense. Expense. And where is the accent on that? And where's the which syllable has the accent in the word expense?
Expense, expense, expense,
Spence. 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 So we'll make that big. Expense.
expense,
Expense.
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 Yeah.
They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
Okay, the expense.
Sorry, the expense.
Uh huh. All right. Now, how many phrases do you think we could divide this sentence into?
So, two,
Okay, what are the two phrases?
they decided not to go on vacation.
All right.
And yeah, next is because they couldn't afford the
The
expense.
the expense.
Sorry, the expense.
All right. And this first phrase, they decided not to go on vacation. Is this a serious sounding phrase or a happy sounding phrase? Which one?
Is happy.
Happy? Okay. So now this is where we get red and blue together because when you finish when you finish the phrase, you want to finish on a low tone, but because you want to sound happier
Yeah.
or friendlier, you're going to also want to add a little bit of high tone. So this is vacation.
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 So you start high and then you go low. Vacation.
Vacation.
And
Vacation
how will your phrase start? Will it start high or low?
is a high.
It would start high because most phrases start high. They decided not to go on vacation, but now you're going to go up with vacay because you want to sound a little bit nicer, a little bit friendlier.
Okay. Okay. So they decided not to go on vacation.
Vacation, not vacation, but vacation. So you're
Vacation.
starting low and going up, but you should be going starting high and going down. You should do the opposite.
So vacation.
You're saying shun, you're going up. Shun should finish low.
Okay. So vacation. Vacation.
Cation. Cation.
Vacation.
Vaca-
Vacation.
they decided not to go on vacation.
They decided not to go vacation. Vacation.
Vacation. Okay. And the final phrase, because they couldn't afford the expense, how would you like to sound? Would you like to sound friendly or serious? Friendly or serious?
Either serious.
Serious. Okay, so if so the first in the first one we had high and low because you wanted to sound a little bit friendlier, but in this one we'll just keep
Yeah.
low. Expense.
Yeah.
Expense.
Expense.
Okay. But we have to start
Expense.
high. We have to start high because most phrases will start high and then move down.
Yes.
So, because they couldn't afford the expense.
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 They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
Okay. Uh, can Pachu, can you make a Why they decide not to go on vacation question.
Why why did they decide not to go on vacation?
Okay. Now, in your question, why did they decide not to go on vacation? What is the most important word in your question?
So the why
Why?
why why
Why? How will you say why plus did plus they?
so why did they
Why?
why did they
Why did they?
why did they
Why?
why did they
Why did they decide?
why did they decide
Why did they decide not to go?
why did they decide not to go?
Why did they decide not to go on vacation?
Why did they decide not to go on vacation?
Okay, what is the answer?
They decide not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
They decided not to go on vacation because they couldn't afford the expense.
Okay. All right. One more, and then we're finished for today,
Yeah,
or for
yeah, okay,
for
so
this session, for this video, because we'll probably do one tonight.